Hello friends, I am Chef Josh, and I'd like to welcome you back to the city of Norland here in City Skylines. I hope everyone out there in YouTube world is having a great day. Just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who stopped by and sort of checked out the new Plazas and Promenades DLC with me on live stream. It was my first ever YouTube live stream last time, and this DLC is a ton of fun. If you're still on the fence about getting it, I highly recommend it. But if you need a little bit more detail on what is actually included, I will leave a link below to my live stream where we basically me and chat checked it out together and built this little train station plaza attached to our town center that we built a few episodes ago. But if you'd like to check that out, again, I'll leave a link below to the live stream so you can see my initial thoughts on it. But we are going to move away from the town center today, and I'd like to go over here by the water, and I'd like to create a little bit of a historical district using the Seaside Resort content creator pack. A lot of those houses look kind of like mansions to me, and I would really like to create a little bit of a fancy area down here by the water. And part of it, we also can make pedestrian as well, and I have a little plan for that. But I am going to do a little bit of removal of trees and some leveling of terrain, and once that's all set, I will be right back. Okay, so the trees are removed and the terrain is somewhat how I want it, but my initial thoughts are I think we're gonna have some sort of plaza center to this, and then leading off of that will be the pedestrian roads. And where I'm from, there's a historical town that has a bunch of mansions on this one particular road, and they basically have turned them into basically museums for the most part. And you can go in there and take tours, and they tell you, you know, how things were back then and stuff like that. But that's kind of my idea for this, and I hope you enjoy it. But we're gonna continue here by taking just this road, and I just want to continue this all the way down. And I think, you know what we're going to do too, to give us a little bit more space, I think we're going to pop a tile here. So I think we're going to take this one, yes, and I think I want to take this one as well. So we'll deal with that later up there, but I think I know that I want that one. And you're having some water issues? Yes? Okay. So let's just give this guy water. All right. Now everybody's happy again. But I think I want to... I'm going to use the European 4-lane stone bridge, but not as a bridge. I would like to use it as just basically just as a road, but it gives you this little bit of a tile kind of on it, which will sort of match the tile from the plazas and promenades pedestrian roads. I just want to level this out just a little bit, and then we're gonna put this back in. Whoops. So let's try that again, and I think I want to come out by about 20. And this is sort of where we're going to make our descent also by about 20, which would bring us to about here. So maybe that's where we create a hill from there all the way up. And then we can bring this guy down by 20. And then I think I do want this to have a little bit more of a grandiose entrance to the area. So I think, even though it's not really necessary, I'm going to give these little slip lanes here. Like that. And we do, I was trying this earlier, and you do get that massive pothole, but I can show you how to fix that as well. But I'm just going to put in the rest of the roads for now, because... So we only have to do this once. Oh, it fixed itself. See that? I did notice that when I was playing around with this a little bit earlier, that you do get a little bit of that tearing. Hopefully there's some more patches down the road coming for us that we can, so we don't have to deal with that too much. Is there a reason why you won't let me go to that? I guess that's fine. There we go. So we got a little bit of a square or diamond, however you're looking at it, I guess, that we can decorate, and we'll take care of that in a time lapse a little bit later. But, you know, bear with the pretty crude landscaping. We will fix that either during the time lapse or later in the episode. But again, I'm going to go back to the European stone bridge, but if you use it as a flat road, it gives you this sort of cobblestone looking texture that matches real well to the pedestrian cobblestone, sandstone, whatever you want to call it, road. And I think the building that I'm going to use for sort of the entrance building, you know, maybe this is where you can get some historical information about the area. Maybe we'll call this the Norland Historical Society. So I really like that building. I think it's pretty grandiose, and I think this is the Ocean View Hotel, but maybe we can call it the Norland Historical Society, and we'll change that a little bit later. But I also think that behind this, I do want to use one of the new plazas, the Flower Plaza here, and it does centralize right behind it. And I think we're going to stick to the historical theme in this little town center. That Seaside Resort also came with a historical library, which is really nice. So I think we're going to put him right here. And then again, I think we're going to dive into the uniques a little bit. And why don't we pick another nice little house to put over here as well? Maybe the Narragansett house. Maybe that's a little too big. Maybe this guy. Yep, I like that one. Okay. And then I think we are going to use some of the historical fire and police station as well. So the historical fire station can go maybe right here. And we can use the historical police station as well. And looks like he'll fit right here. And we can always decorate with some trees. And I think some path would be nice too. So why don't we just throw some path down real quick just to see what it'll look like. I think I'm going to use the red one. I think it'll match kind of nice. It also kind of has that like brick looking texture to it. So I think that kind of matches pretty nice. But, you know, sort of like just like a little historical society center to this build. But there we go. We already got a police car going out, patrolling. Maybe we can find one more small building to put over here. What about the Hotel Brunswick? No. Haven't really looked through all of these yet. Oh, here we go. We can... Oh, no. Sticks out a little bit too wide. Maybe this guy? No. Maybe this one? Looks like... Oh, here we go. All right, so the Hotel New Linwood will work. And maybe we face this one towards this street as well. And again, we can just do some light detailing just to see what it'll look like. But I think some of the chestnuts will work well. Like that. And we can figure out maybe something can go back here as well. Maybe we can do a little seating area, which we'll take care of in our detailing time lapse. But so far, I think that's a nice little sort of town center to this historical section of the city. But I like that a lot. So let's move on to my thoughts on the pedestrian area. All right, so why don't we start talking about the pedestrian area, and let's dive into these pedestrian roads. I think I want to use the tree line road for what we'll call the main avenue, and I'd like to bring it off of being some sort of line with this as well, the street above it, and we can just carry this guy down to about here, and then again carry it down to about here, and then how will this look like that? I don't mind that. I think that looks okay. I want to add some of these grass line paths and just do something like this to a few of the areas, and you'll see why I'm doing this in a second. But I think if we keep nice and uniform here, and that needs a little bit of work because of the terrain. So let's just fix that real quick. We're going to use the Seaside Resort, the bigger style buildings. There's some big chunky boys here, as almost as if they're maybe old mansions. You know, I mean, the richer population maybe lived down by the water type deal, and these mansions have now since then been turned into museums that, you know, maybe the family estate still owns it, but they have turned it into a museum so the whole town of Norland can enjoy. And maybe we can find one more big boy here. Let's see what we got. There we go. Or maybe this one. So I think I like that a lot. I'm happy with that. And maybe this one can even have two on it, as if it was maybe this family had its own guest house. Let's see how that looks. So let's find one of the smaller ones, like something like this maybe. Or I want it to match. So it looks like this guy could be red. Yeah, so maybe this is the bigger one is where the family lived, and the smaller one is when they had guests in town, or, you know, something like that. This one could work too. Man, why don't we do this guy? Look at me just changing my mind on the fly. Yep, I like that a lot. So just a few mansions down by the water, I think. We can play with some stuff in between these guys, but I like the look of that. I think I'd like to key wall this off as well. So maybe we can take a look at throwing a key in here as well. So why don't we do that real quick? All right, so we threw the key in there, and we can do some paths leading down to the water as well. Maybe we'll have to use the vanilla path and then upgrade it, but we could do one right here. And we could do one right here. And we can fill in that with trees and stuff, so that way it's not such an abrupt end to the key wall. But looks like we already got people doing the mansion tour. So let's see what this looks like when we upgrade them. No, I don't think I'm feeling that. So let's just go back to the regular path, and we can decorate it with some fence and stuff. I've just been thinking a little bit about what I want in the center in between these houses. And I think the best way to go would be to just use some of these smaller houses as well, that we can pretend that maybe they have been cleared to build on this road as a hotel. Like some of these are a hotel and they have been given clearance by the town, but they had to keep within the theme of the historical district. So we can use some of these smaller ones where they're obviously not a big mansion. They're just a little inn, maybe a bed and breakfast, something like that. And I think that that is what I'd like to do with this. And it just fills in the area just a little bit more. There's a few small ones that I can use as well that would fit in here. Maybe right next to that guy. And it just fills it in just a little bit more. I do know we have to turn this into a pedestrian area, which we are going to talk about next. But I think I like the way that that looks. We are going to fence off these mansions as well during the time lapse, and I think that we need to give these guys. Did I give them water? I thought I did. Is this not connected? Hello? There we go. All right. And we will figure out power. We'll figure out something on how these guys can get some power. But for now, let's paint a pedestrian district or area, whatever you'd like to call it. And I do know that these guys need something to collect their trash and all that stuff. And I think we can use the university to our advantage. So I think I'm going to take a little bit of the university away. Just this right here. And you'll see what my plan is. Because I think the buildings that come with that don't really match the look of the historical district, but I think they will go well with the. So this is the small one, and we haven't unlocked the large ones yet. So this is small cargo, and this one is just an actual area, pedestrian area. So I think if we use this and put this guy. I'm going to put him here for now. I know it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. But just real quick, I want to dive into the university. Because we did upgrade during, I believe it was during the live stream. And maybe we can make this. Oh, I see. Okay. We can fix that. So if I just do this, should be enough to get the cafeteria in there. Yes. So now I should be able to get this guy sort of right next door. And you'll see trucks kind of coming in and out. Maybe we can pretend that this building is where, as a chef, any other fellow chefs out there, this is where Cisco comes, or the produce company and all that, and they deliver to this back here, and the cafeteria gets the deliveries through this separate building. We can pretend that that's the case, but in actuality, for City Skylines, these guys are the ones reaping the benefits of the trucks coming in over there. So I think that is okay. And now the pedestrian area is sort of hooked up as well. So maybe now we can talk about just doing a little bit of a residential area as well over here. So again, I think I'd like to use the cobblestone, the 2-lane stone bridge, but it's actually, we're going to use it on the ground here. And just create a little bit of a residential area over here. And we can give this a district as well. And I think the one that would match really good over here would be the European suburbia. That's not what I wanted. Here it is. So I think the European suburbia would look really good over here. So I think we're going to be pretty deliberate on how we zone over here. We're going to do all 4x4s. And again, over here, 4x4. And a 4x4. And we will let these guys grow in. And again, I think we can get away with one more right here. But I do think they're going to match really nice to the feel of down by the water type of deal, especially when they upgrade. They do look fairly nice. So I like that. I like the look of that. And we can always expand on this as well with getting some more residential over here as well. But I think I'd also like to take a look at adding some of these bigger pier style, like this one. Out there for the water. And I know he's going to want a road connection. So again, we can use this cobblestone road, go out to about here, and maybe we just give it a little bit of a different feel for that right there. And maybe we can bring this out even further. And again, maybe 10. That's not what I wanted to do. That way these guys can overlook the water. And I think I'm going to have to expand this. Oh, yeah, I made it pretty small. So we will just expand this real quick. And again, we'll throw down some more zoning. But this will help our residential demand and also give us the feel. Maybe some of this can just naturally grow in. Maybe some bigger houses and then also some naturally growing stuff as well. And I know these guys are crying for some power. Why don't we just give them some temporary power for now? And we will figure it out in a second. And there needs to be something over here to connect these two guys. Again, maybe we can play with some of the terrain and put one more of those smaller buildings over here. Maybe another hotel. Maybe two more hotels. What's this one? Another hotel. Kind of like the little one as well. So now this is going to draw a lot of traffic, so we'll probably have to think about some sort of bus route or some type of public transportation, because these are all unique buildings technically. So even though we're pretending they're mansions and sort of a residential, it will draw a lot of Sims to this. Also, random side note, what do you guys call the residents of your city skyline cities? Do you call them Sims, residents? I'm just curious. It's a question I've always wondered, and, you know, Sims make me think of Sim City. So, but leave me a comment down below of what you call your residents in your cities. I'd love to know the answer to that. But now we've got power across everything, and I think we've reached a point where I can go into a little bit of a detailing time lapse and get this all squared away, because I think it's going to look super nice when it's all detailed up. And all right, so I'll catch you on the other side of the time lapse. All right, so we are back from detailing, and I think this turned out like a really nice little build for this corner of the map, and I think I did it justice with using a water body like this appropriately. But just to go through kind of what I did for the detailing, I used some fencing and trees and fountains outside of each of the mansions on this boulevard here. I also in the backyards gave them each a little personal touch. So this guy has like a little like rose garden with some patio and some seating and a gazebo. This one's got a statue in the back. Maybe it's a famous family member. Also with some shrubs and some gazebos as well. A little bit of bench seating and a fountain. And this one's got a stone garden with a fountain, gazebo, and some flower beds, and some of the nice brick pathing as well behind it. But as for the key, I came along and just used those small little pine trees to just kind of line the key and give it a little bit of a touch. The residents are actually using the key quite a lot due to the piers that I put attached to this. I figured it would help draw some of them in so we see some activity along the water there. I did change the tree in the center of the pedestrian boulevard to these little rhododendrons, which I think are a really nice touch and a little bit of class. And just look at how many people are actually using this. I mean, it's so cool, the pedestrian areas now. This place is getting quite busy, but I did add a few bus stops, and I've got the double-decker buses. There comes one right there. You do see those double-deckers a lot with like tour groups and things like that, so I thought it kind of made sense. Plus, they've got quite the capacity, so that's kind of nice as well. Over here, just added another unique building here from the Seaside Resort, and did some more piers along the water over here while I had the road connection. I did give this section its own elementary school and cemetery. That's the European elementary. Just a little bit of more rock detail and some lush forest around it. Our little sort of road diamond, I don't know what this thing is called, to be honest with you, but I just added a little bit of the farm fencing and some trees and rocks and one big old rock on that corner there. But I really like how this little area turned out, and I hope you did too. If you did like it, a like is always appreciated. Comment, let me know what you think of this build. Have you downloaded the content creator packs? If so, what do you think of them so far? I kind of combined two of them here with the pedestrian area and the Seaside Resort. But I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed building it. And also just a little side note, in the middle of building this, I reached 100 subscribers on the YouTube channel. So I just want to say thank you to all those people that have hit subscribe already. And of course, anybody else is welcome to subscribe as well. If you enjoy the content, I really appreciate it. All those things help this channel grow. And it's a little just fun side project, but of course, growth is always welcomed. So with that said, I hope everyone has a great day, and until next time, I hope you have a good one.